delicious. Welcome back to Cooking at Pam's Place. We are getting ready to make what I call dinner pie. A lot of people will call it shepherd and cottage pie, which they are the same thing. But because I'm switching out and it's not the classic kind with regular potatoes, I'm switching it up and we're calling this dinner pie. It's absolutely amazing. The flavors that you'll get, oh my goodness. You'll need about 2 pounds of sweet potatoes. I'm going to cook these on the stove top, and then the rest of the dish is going to be 1 skillet. It is absolutely amazing, and because it's fall, it's one of my favorite go-tos. We're going to be using fall flavors as well. So I'm going to get these cut up, take them to the stove, and we'll be right back. Potatoes are now on the stove. You want to cover them with about 1 inch of cold water. Cover the pot. Bring it up to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, we want to simmer it for about 10 or 15 minutes. Now, you can do that part in the oven and roast them, but the whole process will take just a little bit longer. We're going to finish up our prep work. We need cheese. I'm going to be using some Swiss and some Gouda cheese. I'm going to grate it. You can use shredded cheese as well. But before we go on, if you are new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today here in my kitchen. I really do appreciate each and every one of you all. Take a second and subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell so you won't miss anything. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much, and channel members, thank you so much. So this is going to be easy for me to shred because I actually froze it first. So I'm going to go ahead, get both of these blocks, not the whole block, about 1/4 of the block, and I will leave the entire recipe in the description, which will be just below the video while you're watching it. Click the word more and it will expand the field. You might have to click the word more again and expand the field a secondary time, and you will find the ingredients. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm adding a little olive oil to the skillet. Not much, just a couple of tablespoons. Then we're going to go in with our onions and saute them until they're tender and a little translucent, because they will continue to cook with your protein. Okay, our onions are where we want them, so we're going to go in with our ground turkey. Now, as your ground turkey starts to cook, you want to, it's not hot yet, not hot enough for me, but be careful. You want to go ahead and break it up. Start breaking it up with your spoon or a fork, because you want it to be in crumbles like you would have ground beef in crumbles. Now, we're going to be adding some herbs into this, but to start with, as far as seasonings, I'm using my all-purpose seasoning, which will be available for you all soon. So hang in there. You'll be able to get my all-purpose seasoning real soon. So this is the only actual seasoning I am getting. When you're using all-purpose seasoning, it should be exactly what it says. It's an all-purpose seasoning. So you really shouldn't need to add in any additional salt, pepper. It should give you an amazing flavor all by itself. So we're going to let this to start to cook and brown. And about halfway through, we'll be adding in our actual herbs. Okay, so our ground turkey is pretty much almost done. So I'm going to add in some rosemary. Now these are just dried herbs. If you don't have an all-purpose seasoning that you like to use, this is some thyme as well as some parsley. You can add in things like cumin and even some coriander if you like. I am going to add a bit of paprika in here as well. So let me grab that and I'll be right back. Now, before I add my other ingredients in here and let it simmer, I'm going to go over and drain it, because we want to get some of this extra liquid. If you can see that down in there, we want to get that out of there. That's more greasy than liquid. And then we're going to go back in with some chicken broth, but it won't be a greasy type of liquid. So okay, so now I'm going to go in with a little paprika. And this is tomato paste. A couple of spoonfuls. You get that richness. And some chicken broth. Okay, we're going to stir this together and kind of just let it simmer for a few minutes. Then we're going to be adding in the rest of our ingredients. In the meantime, we need to tend to our potatoes. So now we have our potatoes cooked, and we are going to add in a couple of tablespoons of butter. A couple of tablespoons of butter. Or more. And then we are going to mash them. If your butter can be at room temperature, that will help, but the potatoes are hot, so it will help them, it will help it to go ahead and mash and incorporate in there as well. Our potatoes are back on the stove. We're going to add just a drop of cinnamon in here to them. And you want to stir them over this heat. The heat is on medium, getting any extra water out of them, but constantly stir so that they won't stick or burn. Our potatoes are over here ready, and our ground turkey is over here ready for the next step. At this point, you want to go in and make sure you taste it. See if it has all the seasoning and the flavor profile that you want, because shortly we won't be able to add any more in. Perfect. Man, that's delicious. Oh my goodness. Okay, so now we're adding in our peas and corn. These are actually frozen and steamable. It's a shortcut. It won't take long to bake because, well, they'll just cook in the steam and they'll cook real quick. You can use fresh carrots, and it's going to take longer because you got to cook them first like you did with the onions, but they take longer. You can use any fresh vegetables that you like. When I'm making this dish, I like to make sure I use frozen vegetables. So that's my peas and corn. My peas and carrots, and I am going in with some corn as well. This is another time that you can actually make it your own by adding whatever vegetables you want in it. If you have, I think I said this, but if I didn't, if you have not preheated your oven, this is the time to preheat it to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay? So now we're going to let this simmer with the frozen vegetables in it for another about 5 minutes. So at this point, you want to level out your meat and vegetable mixture the best you can to an even layer in your same skillet. And your oven should be preheated at this time to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Just like that, nice and even. Then we're going to go in with the cheese that we grated. Now this is not a cheese casserole, so you don't need a lot, but you can also feel free to use as much as you like. Just put in a layer of cheese right now over your meat and vegetable mixture. Make sure you get it all the way around to the edges. You want to make sure you have cheese in every bite. Okay. At this point, I am turning my stove off. And I'm going to wash my hands. We'll come back and we'll be ready for our potatoes. Okay, we have our potatoes here. We're just going to top this off with our potatoes, smoothing it out some, and then we're going to fluff it with a fork. And if you want to make this more classic shepherd's pie, the only thing you really need to do is switch out your potatoes and just use some regular potatoes. I happen to love the taste of the sweet potatoes with this particular recipe. Okay, now once you have it all smoothed out like that, just kind of go in and rough it up a little bit because you want those little peaks to turn a little golden brown more than the rest of it. We're gonna bake this in a 425-degree oven for about 15 minutes. Oh my goodness, we are done out of the oven. This is piping hot. As a matter of fact, let me grab a pot. I really need to let it cool. It's perfect if you can let it sit for at least 20, maybe 30 minutes so everything will kind of gel together and it just won't fall apart when you cut into it. But y'all know I can't wait, okay? But before we do that, once again, if you are new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today here in my kitchen. I really do appreciate you. Please take a second and subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell so you won't miss anything. For all my returning subscribers, thank you so much. Channel members, thank you so much for your loyal, faithful support. And for everyone, I also have a gardening channel and I would love to have each and every one of you all over there too. It's the Scaredy Cat Gardener and I'll link that channel right above. Ooh, got my plate right here. Oh my goodness. Ooh. See if I can just, I don't know if the spoon will do it good or not. Let's see here. Ooh, this is piping hot, but it smells amazing. These sweet potatoes and the fall flavorings in here, delicious. Oh my goodness, let's see here. Can I get a full scoop out of here? Oh, ooh. Let me see. Grab some of the inside. Y'all know some of the inside fell out because I couldn't wait. It's so hot. But that's okay, we'll just put it right here on the edge so that it can be seen too. It is absolutely amazing. Let me move this to the stove so we can get it closer. This is hot too. Doesn't this look amazing? Taste test time. Yes. And I let it cool just a little bit. Oh my goodness, we gotta get everything on the fork. We have to get everything on the fork. Oh, delicious. The aroma of my house is amazing. Oh, without further ado. Delicious. And that thin layer of Swiss and Gouda cheese, amazing. And I will see you all next time. The good Lord willing and the creek don't rise. Bye-bye.